Welcome to today's May market report, where I'm going to break down for you the average sold prices, how long these properties been on the market for, and how the sales activity has been across the 905, 416 regions, where I break down semi-detached, freehold townhouses, detached homes, and condos. In addition to that, I'm going to go into the details of showing you the actual properties that have sold in the MLS database, and so that you have a clear visual of what is currently happening. And of course, if I didn't address your actual property type, feel free to message me in the comments below, and I can always send you a personalized market report for you. Okay, so if you're ready, let's get started. So let's begin right here. We've been seeing price drops pretty much across all property types: detached, semi-detached, townhouses, and condos. If we take a look at these numbers, we can see that for detached, we saw 5.4% drop in average sales price. This is in the 905 region. It was hovering around $1.3 million. And for the condo segment, we also saw 7.3% drop. In the 416 region, hovering around $709,905 on average. For semi-detached in the 416 area, we also saw a drop of 8.4%, hovering around $1.3 million on average. Now let's focus our attention to the 905 area. Detached homes first. As I did mention, average price 5.4% drop compared to last year. Sales were also dropped 11.6%, hovering around 2,217. Townhouses 5.5% drop, and we saw sales also drop to 801 sales. Condo segment, average prices hovering around 632,771. That's a 4.2% drop, and we saw sales of 509,509 sales in total, which is a 24.8% drop year over year. That's the largest drop compared to all the other housing types. In the 416, if we take a look at Toronto, downtown prices 1.72 mil, which is 5.6% drop, 781 sales, 8% drop. Now, if we look at semi-detached, similar story, 1.3% average price point, which was an 8.4% drop compared to last year. And for sales, there was only 277, but this is a slight increase compared to last year, 1.5%. Condos, however, average prices were around 710,000, which is a 7.3% drop compared to last year. In total, we only had 973 sales, which is 25% drop. Here's a chart that kind of highlights for you the declines in sales volume as I described before. And this kind of just shows you where the drops are happening the most. Obviously, the condo markets in both 416, 905, semi-detached as well in the 905 region, 17%. That follows by the townhouse market in 905, and then detached in the 905. And it's no surprise properties are taking longer to sell. And because of this reason, we're seeing in the 905 region a 67% increase in the number of days it takes to sell the home on average. So about a 6-day increase. For semi-detached, we've noticed an increase of 45% in the number of days, currently 16 days on market, which is a 5-day increase this year. And finally, condos in this 905 area, we saw a 47% increase, and that's a 25 days on market, 8 days more than what it was last year. Now let's take a look at the largest price drops by dollar value, starting off with the largest loss, that being in the semi-detached market in the 416 region, down $119,158 compared to last year. Next is the 416 detached market, where we saw price drop of $102,030 year over year. Third, the 905 detached market, where we saw a price drop of $75,432 on average year over year. And finally, the condo market, where we saw in the Toronto region prices dropping on average $55,940 year over year. So it's obviously a clear sign that the market has been cooling. Prices have been dropping everywhere, like I noticed. It's taking longer to sell. So as a buyer, keep this in mind, because you're going to have a lot more negotiating power to look at the properties that you actually want. And you're going to be able to decide from there whether to go for a better property, better features, or go with a lower price property that may not have everything, but really gives you a really banging deal. And as a seller, Unfortunately, you're going to have to adjust your expectations because we're no longer in the 2021, 22, 22 market where you could sell and expect bidding wars. It's not that common in today's market. Now let's bring our attention to the actual properties that did sell. I'm going to focus my attention in Toronto, looking at what's sold for the lowest price. And this is all in May. Here we saw, and this is all detached market, one bedroom, one bedroom, one bathroom here in Blakely Avenue. That's one property there. Another home here sold for $664. And this number tells you how much less it sold for compared to what it was listed for. So $24,000 loss, $25,000 here, $125,000, a large loss over there. Let's just take a look and see this one very quickly to see why. I only had one photo, so let's not take a look at that one. Yeah, here are other examples here. As you can see, this was sold for actually above listings. So some do still sell for at a higher price than what's been listed for. It really comes down to the condition of the property, how well it's marketed. Let's take a look, see what sold for the highest price. Okay, so we obviously have $10 million, but you could see even for the luxury homes, these are selling for a lot of large losses. $2.7 million loss here, $488,000 loss over there. So this kind of just gives you an idea where the market has really shifted in the last month. These are all taking losses, especially the luxury homes. People are not able to afford such a large mortgage given the interest rates they're at. Okay, so I want to also now search for semi-detached. Let's take a look at the semi-detached market. So I'll start from the lowest price point in Toronto. $515,000 was the lowest price. From there, $560,000, and we're seeing these are also selling at a loss, $40,000 compared to listing price. $50,000 loss here. We're seeing $47,000, so a lot of good savings for a buyer if you're looking into buying. Let's take a look, see the high end. So $4.7 million semi-detached, $120,000 loss. $550,000 loss for $3.4 million home, and it just keeps on going. Some of these are selling above, so it really tells you the importance pricing the property in accordance to what the actual features of the home look like, the condition of the home look like, and how well it's marketed. These are all factors that affect the overall selling price. So it's really important that you get someone who can show you all these details, who can provide you that value of marketing. This is what will make the overall difference when it comes time to sell your home. So now let's take a look at the townhouse market and see what's going over here. So low end, we saw the townhouses selling for $537,000. This one sold at $163,000 loss. Let's see, $700,000, $737,000, and these ones all sold at a loss. Let's take a look at the high end now. So at the high end, we saw this $4.2 million home sell at a $480,000 loss. Insane. 2.7 selling at $100,000 loss here. 2 million, $108,000 loss. So the story continues, similar result. And finally, I'm going to just quickly show you the condo market. So on the low end for condos, we saw the lowest price being $310,000, selling at a $65,000 loss. Other properties, 330, so actually quite a lot under 400,000. Obviously, these are all much smaller, maybe, or in a lower, more older home. But let's even take a look at maybe see the one bedroom. Let's take a look at the two bedroom market, something more reasonable for someone. So even two bedrooms, you could find properties selling at 335, 360, and a lot of these are selling at a discount. This one, $92,000 savings, $20,000 savings over here. But what if you want to go on the higher end? Let's say you want something more luxurious, $3 million property, $4 million at a $555,000 loss. You have property condos selling for $2.9 million, 2.7, and these ones selling at a loss as well. This is giving you the evidence to show you that properties are selling at a loss. Condos are selling at a loss. It's taking such a long time to sell these properties, and that's the Toronto area. I could do also other areas as well. If you're looking in the Brampton market, Mississauga, just leave a comment below if you want this exact similar type of information. I'll guide you through that process, giving you the steps to figure out what makes sense for you and how we're going to actually get there to get you the best possible deal. All right. So until then, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Cheers.